live from the Newman Cigar Studios and the Gurkha Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Pat Chamberlain.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I'm joined once again by the beautiful Smokin Nicole. To my left, actually I think it's your right, but she's on my left, so whatever.
I'm on the screen.
She's on the screen.
That's what matters.
That's all that matters. She made it. Again, this is your fourth show now since being back.
Yeah?
All together. I know, this is nice. It's definitely a lot easier for me. But it's not so much about us tonight. Nicole had her comeback. You know, she made her couple of victory laps already, and that's nice. But tonight, we have a final victory lap to be made in the cigar media from somebody that we got to know along the way and that we care about very much. And from a media standpoint, we will miss seeing around. A lot of great laughs, a lot of great times over the years. But now it is time to take a bow. And here he is. It's Matt Ty of How About That Cigar, HBTC, coming to you live from Minnesota, the true Great White North. Although he's a Green Bay Packers fan.
I am a Green Bay Packers fan. How is everybody?
Good. How are you doing, Matt?
Doing good.
Fantastic. Thank you guys so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You know you always have a place here with us. And, you know, I give Nicole credit. She was the first one to say, hey, you know, we got to have Matt come on again. And so I'm happy that we're able to get you in here kind of last minute so we could, you know, we could have this night together. You know, we've had so many nights together all over the place.
That's true.
And, you know, it was fitting to do it again. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, it's good hanging out with you guys.
There's no set thing tonight. You know, there's no topic of the show. Tonight is about just people being together. That's the theme tonight. So,
Love
of
it.
course,
And celebration.
yeah. Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. There's, you know, if you're looking for a very specific topic, you came to the wrong show. There's not going to be any guest appearances. There's no. Tonight's about Matt.
Matt's our guest. Come on.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, there's no other theatrics. There's no, like, you know, this is it.
He's the theatrics. Come on.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, William Cooper's not going to come out of nowhere and be like, oh, you know, as far as that goes.
There's not going to be a surprise Coop appearance.
No. Although I did tell him you were coming on tonight. He was like, well, I have to listen to that. I'm like, yeah, I know.
I promise not to talk about Matt LaFleur, the coach of the Green Bay Packers. We have a running.
Oh yeah, we know.
We have a running argument about Coach Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers. So.
You know, he posted something the other day about. I think it was. I know you saw it. Was it the thing? Something about like Kapler being considered for GM of the Marlins or something like that. And he went off on this whole thing. And I said what I said because I'm like, someone has to say it at this point. And I did this whole thing about how, and I ended it with, I was like, you know what? And I pulled the Michael Scott here. And if you know The Office, then you'll know why I made this comment. If you don't know The Office, you'll think it's really fucked up. But if you know The Office, you'll know where I was coming from when I wrote this comment. And I said, at this point, Coop, if you were in a room with Bin Laden and Saddam Hussein and Gabe Kapler, and you had a gun with 2 bullets, you would shoot Gabe Kapler twice. It's so true. It really
Absolutely.
is. He'd be like, you know, I don't like terrorism, but you know, Gabe, I'm sorry. You fucked me with the Phillies. It's like, really? That's the decision?
I'm glad to know that that Coop doesn't hold grudges.
Yeah, I know, right? especially with professional sports personnel.
It seems with coaches or managers in particular, not players as much. He's way harder on coaches and managers than he is on players.
So
So
before the NFL season began, we welcomed Mike Vrabel back to the kingdom with open arms where he belongs. He said, "Oh, he's an average coach," and I said, "Oh, okay, average coach. Yeah, I'm not knocking him, but he's an average coach." I said, "Oh, okay, average coach." The other day I called him after we beat Tampa, and he goes, "Listen, he's an above average coach." So now we've added the word above to the ski. So I'm waiting to praise him until he wins in the playoffs, but he's been upgraded to above average coach. I'm like, oh, I'll take what I can get.
yeah, yeah.
Well, this is typical. This is us. We're sitting around. We're talking about Coop. Like, this is what happens every time. This is just like the Great Smoke all over again.
But he knows that we love him and we
Oh, he does.
we joke and we're just busting balls. He knows that.
Oh, he does. He does. I tell him all the time, and I'm like, you know, it's because I love you, right? He's like, oh yeah, no, I know. I'm like, I want to make sure you know. He does. He does. I've had a lot of serious conversations with Coop as well. So Coop knows how I feel about him. I would be lost in this world without him. At least, no, yeah, in multiple ways. Yeah, I would be lost without him. But anyway, no, it's great to be here with you. Lighten up a cigar. We're gonna talk about what we're smoking as usual. I'll let you go first, but let me bring us into this. Our cigars tonight, once again, brought to you by the number 2, guyscigars.com. That's right, the number 2, guyscigars.com. Head over there today for an amazing selection of cigars and cigar accessories from brands that you know and love, and maybe a few that you haven't quite discovered yet. Do yourself a favor. Go on their website and order some cigars today. Show them love because they show it to us only on the number 2, guyscigars.com. Not number 3. Number 4, the number 2, guyscigars.com. Matt, what did you light up with us tonight?
So I wanted something bold this evening, so I decided to fire up the Red Meat Lovers Fratanga from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust.
Nice choice.
Yeah, it's no slouch. It's there's a lot going on. It's very.
I like how we went with that that gold lettering on the band too. It's really it really pops. I like that.
Red and gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really nice cigar.
Really, really good. Nicole, what are you smoking over there?
I am smoking the Hoya Cabinetta. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Pronunciation.
Lancero.
Oh,
It's Lancero.
one of my favorite Lanceros. Love that
It's very
cigar.
good. It's very good. I needed something light because I'm tired.
Oh yeah.
It's fair.
It was a long day at work today.
And I am smoking the new My Father Blue Toro. Just came out this year. It's been very high on my list so far. I've smoked a bunch of them. Bought the box. I thought it was great. I know that it's gotten... I'll be honest. I've heard mixed reviews. I heard people who either love it, and I've heard people who are like, swing and a miss. And I'm like, okay. But,
I thought it was really good myself. I really enjoyed that. I've only smoked it twice, but I've really enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, I think this one is... And I told everyone, I said, right out of the gate, I said, look, let it rest too. Let it rest. Smoke it again in the fall. I'm telling you, this one's going to be good. And I'm hearing more and more people coming around now. I'm like, this cigar is good. It's probably most definitely going to land on our list. Really, really excited, Honduras, making, adding to their... My Father's one of my favorite factories. I try not to advertise favorites, but sometimes I can't help it. So when they came out with this and everything they're doing, I was like, I'm really excited. I want to try this. I want to see how it is. And I remember at the trade show, the samples were very scarce. But I managed to, sneak a few out, and I smoked the first one, and I was like, oh my God, I'm buying the box when they ship. And ever since, it's been one of my favorites. It's up there with the Perdomo Legacies. And pretty much most of the Corojo stuff that Pete put out this year. Those have all been really my favorites. There's more too, but those are the ones I've probably smoked the most from the show this year. It's been a fun year, as we've talked about on other shows. It's the last couple of years. And Matt, I know you've been around, so you've smoked a bunch of stuff. But I'm not saying the last couple of years were bad, but they weren't as exciting as this year, I think is the right way to word that. I don't know if you agree with that. I don't know what your stance is, but that's kind of where everyone in this camp's kind of been.
Yeah, it seems like, um, it seems like there were a couple years, few years maybe, where specifically just from, I mean, there's always new stuff coming out,
Right.
but it seems like there were a few years, kind of, in the COVID boom where production numbers had to go up because consumption was going up. People were buying a lot more cigars, and quality control had some issues there for a few years, trying to keep up with demand. But this year, I've seen fewer quality control issues this year. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's a trend that's gonna continue.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, you have to remember too. I think a lot of manufacturers like to debut stuff at the PCA show. The show changed. Went from July up to was that the first one? Was it March? The first spring one we did in Las Vegas, and then we went to New Orleans, and that show was about like 13 months later. So I think that was probably part of it. I think that the fallout from COVID and all of that, and that was all a mess. And I gotta say, hats off to a lot of those manufacturers because they got through COVID and all that. They got through the changing of the show schedule that kind of fucked some people up. I know, not everybody, but I know it fucked with some people. Now you got tariffs and all this other
Yeah.
stuff that they're dealing with, and it's like Jesus Christ. And they've not saying that in history of cigars there hasn't been challenges. I mean, one could argue the biggest challenge is when everybody couldn't buy Cuban tobacco anymore, and it was like, oh no, what do we do? Way back in the 60s. But certainly the last 5 years have been a lot to deal with, and now this. So yeah, it's to see them continuing to keep on burning and keep on going. And I know that they've all had their challenges with it this year, and everyone's kind of taking care of it differently. Then of course you get the thing with California, and I know that a lot of manufacturers have, everyone's kind of in a different boat, right? So it's been a lot. It's been a lot of obstacles to get over. So
Yeah, there's always something.
yeah. So to your point too, like then you're all at the same time while you're dealing with all this background noise, you still got to make cigars, you still got to worry about your quality control and getting your tobacco and all that. So that's a lot. So and selling those cigars too. So
Yeah.
hats off to those people because it is harder than it looks. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully everything just keeps moving in a positive direction moving forward. But also with us tonight is our good friends from SC Dupont. That's right, we're shaking up the legacy with SC Dupont, and we have a couple of their newest products with us. First and foremost, featuring the new limited edition Fuente collection that just dropped at retailers with the Biggie lighter, the cigar rest cutter. I'm trying to do it swiftly. There it is. I don't have the whole collection, but it also includes a Slimmy, a Line 2, a Legrand, a Maxi Jet, and then the Haute collection, which is very, very limited. Sorry, I was going somewhere with that, and then I put this down, and I was like, wait, what? And then the Haute collection, 88 pieces, 5 different colors, and I believe each of them comes with it's a Line 2 with the thicker bronze outer shell. It's beautiful, really, really cool. I don't have one here with me, but then it also comes with a bronze Carlito bobblehead that it sits on too. Very, very limited, very heavy too, I should say. It's all solid. It's not hollow. So ask your local retailer for that today if you're interested, if they're still available. I'm sure a lot of those probably sold out quickly. And then also we have the new Defi Windproof, which I love this lighter because I'm a soft flame guy, and it is really stood the test of winds here. I mean, I haven't really used it in an outdoor windy location, but I've done some interior tests with it, and it has passed exceedingly. And I can tell you that Les Mann of SC Dupont, Coles of London, shout out to my brother, took it over to Ireland and used it on the windy golf courses of Ireland. And he says that he never lost flame. Now, he does work for them, so I know. But I'll have to do an independent test of that. But I also, I trust Les. He's a man of his word, so I think it's a stand-up lighter. So, ask your local retailer today for ST Dupont lighters and cutters and cigar accessories today.
But back to Matt, the man of the night.
That's right. Now it's back to Matt.
So tonight's episode is about celebrating Mr. Matt Tighe, and how about that cigar? So, after years of cigars, conversations, and community with your lovely website and podcast, tell us a little bit about how about that cigar came to be. Like, what was there a moment? Was it a dream? Was it, I don't know. Did it just come to you while you were driving one day?
He was in the shower and he was just like, you know what? I'm going to get into cigar media. That's a great idea.
Live the dream.
Well, I was just the kind of the term or the phrase, or I guess, how about that cigar was, I don't remember exactly when it was, but I was with a friend of mine at a local private cigar club. And we were, I think it was some random Sunday afternoon watching a game or something like that, sitting there smoking cigars, talking about life, watching the game in the background. And he was smoking a cigar that I hadn't tried. And I don't even remember what the cigar was, but I just remember looking at him and saying, as if to ask, what do you think of that cigar? I said, how about that cigar? And it just stuck in my head. I was like, oh, that. And honestly, within like 10 or 15 minutes, I didn't say this to him at the time, but in my head, I'm thinking, that might actually be a good name for a podcast about cigars. And so before How About That Cigar started, I was active in the cigar community and on forums and on Cigar Dojo and stuff like that. And I wanted, I saw a lot of other shows, podcasts and web shows and stuff like that about cigars that I really enjoyed. And I watched their content all the time and listened to their podcasts, and I gained a lot from it. And I thought, man, that just seems like it would be a lot of fun to do. And in the summer of 2015, I got registered to be, Cigar Dojo put out there that they were going to be doing their own cigar safari trip to the Drew Estate Cigar Safaris.
Right.
And they said, we've got a limited number of slots open, the first X number of people that show interest and, do the down payment and all that can get a spot. So I reached out right away and I was lucky enough to get a spot. And as I was emailing or phone calling back and forth with Eric from Cigar Dojo in the months leading up to that trip, is kind of when I first got the idea in my head to maybe start doing some kind of cigar media kind of thing myself. And, I asked him about it and I said, would it be cool if and it's so funny because, we all have these moments sometimes where we well, maybe I had this moment where I was just kind of like overstepping a little bit, and I didn't at the time. It was just because I was excited, but I said, "Hey, we're going on this cigar safari trip in a couple months, and I've been thinking about starting my own kind of cigar media sort of thing, and you know, I'll obviously be taking a lot of pictures and videos and stuff while we're on this cigar safari trip. Would it be cool if I like tried to do some kind of like interviews or something or whatever while we're on this trip?" And he was super kind about it too, because he could have easily been like, "Dude, that's kind of messed up that you want to do that on a cigar dojo trip," because that's but he was super kind about it, and he said, I think maybe just enjoy the trip and enjoy the everything you get." And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, wow, yeah, he's totally right. I've A, I've overstepped, and B, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. So I realized I have a lot to learn. So I went on the trip and had an absolute blast with those guys and all the people from Drew Estate, and it was great. And then in 2016, I saw a post somewhere that Blind Man's Puff was looking for people to join their team. And I threw my hat in the ring and I said I'd love to join your team and so I got a spot on the team with Blind Man's Puff and started attending trade shows and writing articles and doing cigar reviews and stuff like that. And I did that with them for a few years. So went to my first 3 trade shows with Blind Man's Puff. And sometime it was like summer of 2018, late summer of 2018, I felt like, okay, I think I was getting kind of to an age where I was like, all right, I'm getting older, and I want to, if I'm ever going to start something, new, then now is probably the time. So I went to the, guys from Blind Man's Puff, and I said, I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate everything that that you've done for me with Blind Man's Puff, but I'm gonna scoot and start my own thing. So late, I don't know, late in the year of 2018, I did all the business registrations and started building the website, and talked to Garrett about coming in and helping me with it and being part of it. And then on February 1st, 2019, the website went live, and just a couple months later, Garrett and I sat in the garden shed. No shit. We sat in the garden shed next to my house, which I had emptied out and turned into, put in a space heater and insulated it and put in a TV, and that became my smoking lounge. And we literally set one of those little digital audio recorders on a table and just talked. We did the first How About That Cigar audio podcast, and then shortly after started doing video to go with the audio podcast. And so yeah, that's sort of the
humble
origin
beginnings.
story. Yeah, the humble beginnings.
The salad
Exactly.
days, as Matt would say.
Yeah.
So what do you remember most vividly about that first episode? Like, was it, was it a shit show? Was it amazing? Was it like, do you even remember what you talked about?
It's probably better than ours.
Yeah,
I know, that's what
I
I'm
don't
thinking.
I don't know if I even remember exactly what we talked about. I think we just kind of talked, and we had sort of a rough outline of a couple things, but um, yeah, we really just talked, and um, we talked about what we were smoking, and if I remember one thing from it. It's that just we just talked about what How About That Cigar was going to be, or what we wanted How About That Cigar to be, and
And what
that was
was that
really it.
vision? Like, what was like your starting vision, and how, I guess, how did that change over the years for you?
Oh, that yeah, it did change a lot. The starting vision was, um, you know, it it used to be at the top of the How About That Cigar website. Um, it used to say consumer focused cigar info and entertainment, and that part never went away. But you know, I wanted a lot of things in the beginning, and I set up things on the website sort of as placeholders for things like cigar destinations, like the either the brick and mortar shops or the private lounges, or cigar events, around the country or around the world that are like must visit spots, if you're a cigar smoker. And um, that went away because we ended up just doing a handful. And Andrew Tolsman did a couple of them early on for us, and then because he had a job at the time where he was traveling constantly, and he was really gracious to go in and cover those places for us and put those articles together for us. And then he you know moved to a different job and wasn't traveling really anymore at all. So they started having kids, and so and it neither myself or Garrett had the money to be traveling all over the place to write articles for cigar destinations, and so that went away. And I had I had this weird idea that's funny because it's come up a couple times on social media since then, that some cigar manufacturers have brought up about, when people review cigars, they only review new cigars, except for Cigar Aficionado and but for the most part, everybody just reviews new cigars. And I thought about that before starting How About That Cigar, and it's like, what if we? So I did this thing called flashback reviews. And the rule I think was the cigar that was being reviewed had to be on the market for at least 10 years
To
to
qualify for a
qualify
flashback.
to be a
Yeah.
flashback review. And honestly, I think we only ever did like 3 of those, because they got no clicks. Nobody cared. So I just stopped doing those.
Sometimes you
And
have
a
to
couple of,
pivot, you
yeah,
know?
and a couple other things like the first couple episodes of the podcast, I did this thing called Useless Fact of the Week that was just like literally something, I mean, we were talking beforehand about trivia, and it would just be some nonsensical, useless piece of information that I would go off on. And I think that's when it was like the third or fourth episode, maybe that Garrett came up with uh, the Numero de los Muertos
Oh
thing.
yeah.
And so, yeah, definitely some changes along the way. And over the years, we focused on trade show coverage and the live show that we do on Monday nights. And because, as you guys know, doing cigar reviews and publishing them is extremely time consuming.
Mhm.
And
The
um,
news.
doing doing cigar news, actually press releases. That was the first major, because we did the press releases in cigar news for a long time. And my day job schedule started to get so absolutely insane that I could not keep up anymore. So I said the only way, and I was never able to publish everybody's press releases. And I said, this is just not fair to everybody who's sending me press releases if I don't have time to publish somebody's. And how do I pick and choose whose I'm going to publish and whose I'm not, because I don't have time to publish them all. So I said the only fair thing to do is just stop doing cigar news and stop publishing press releases. So I stopped doing that. And then reviews just became too much, and I said, okay, I think of all the things that How About That Cigar does well, it's the Monday Night Live show and trade show coverage. So put all the focus into that.
Well, yeah, and you had a lot of success on the podcast. Now, did you ever think that it would last this long?
Um, yeah, actually, I felt pretty good about, what we were doing, and, as we were, we were just improving because I mean, you go back on our audio podcast channel and you listen to those first few episodes. I mean, you hear all the noise in the background of the fans and traffic going down the road, and then you look at the first couple that were video, and it's literally a shitty, cheap little webcam, and it's grainy, and the stream kept cutting in and out, and we'd have to jump back on because the show ended early or whatever. And so just over the years, make little improvements, adding good lighting and good cameras and good microphones, and then just find new. And because this is another thing is, and you guys know this just as well, there are a lot of cigar shows out there, and you want yours to stand out, and the way to make it stand out is to just be good with the whole interviewing and personability thing, but also have some unique and interesting segments that other cigar shows don't have. And coming up with new and unique stuff is really tough because there's a lot of content out there. And so, yeah, I just try to develop new ideas and new content throughout the years, and research guests ahead of time to come up with questions, and even listen to or watch other people's podcast interviews with these people ahead of time to make sure I don't repeat questions that and you're never going to be able to do that 100%. You're never going to
It's hard.
be able to. Yeah.
Especially when you have, not to take away, just want to add a little piece to what you're saying. When you get the people who want to do the book tour, so they want to come on all of our shows, like within like a 3-week period, then you're literally like doing the same conversation. It's tricky.
Yeah. So you want to ask them something that they've never been asked before, and maybe if possible, it's not easy to do this, but I always wanted to find something outside of the realm of cigars to talk to people about, and because they're talking about wrapper, binder, filler all day long, and price points and packaging, and just to be able to ask them about something else, and dig a little more into their personal likes and dislikes, and their families, and their life stories, and that kind of thing. And it just developed over time, over many years, trying to get better at doing a show every single week.
I know, and that it's a lot of time every single week. So, but on the topic of show guests and people who you've had on the show, what's the one guest that you can't believe you had on?
Oh, I mean, well, as far as our main Monday night show, when we were able to have Carlito on the show, that's that was like, if there's a podcast about if there's a podcast about boxing and you got to have Mike Tyson as a guest on your show, that's the equivalent for us. It's when we were able to have Carlito on, it was amazing for us, and it was a fantastic experience, and we had already met him and gotten to know him. But then having him on, it was just great. We really, we talked about cigars, but honestly, most of the talk was about family and about, more important stuff that's more important than cigars. And then, but then trade show stuff like um, getting to the Epic Cigars booth and talking to Chaz Palminteri was really cool, and meeting Guy Fieri at the trade show was super cool. But then one that was impromptu and totally we literally happened to be in. It was the first year we ever. Was it the first? Shoot, I don't. It was at one of the PCA trade shows.
It blends together.
It does all blend together. And it was the last day and the last 20 minutes of the trade show. We were in the Rocky Patel booth and we were waiting around to interview Rocky.
Oh,
And
I know where this is going.
You know how that can be. And
Because I was there
all
too.
of a sudden Garrett sees Russell Peters, who is a stand-up comic and absolutely insanely funny man.
Oh my God.
Garrett's like, he nudges me on the shoulder. He's like, dude, Russell Peters is standing right over there. I was like, holy shit, that's Russell Peters. And we go up to him and start talking to him. I'm like, what are you doing? And so we talked for a couple minutes and said, would you mind doing like a on-camera interview for like 3 or 4 minutes? He's like, yeah, no problem. And fired up the camera and interviewed Russell Peters right there at the trade. It was bonkers. And he was hilarious and it was great.
Did you ask him about putting it on the plane?
No. But yeah, there's that interview's still out on our YouTube channel.
Or the wrist job.
Well, he joked a lot about because he was at the time working on a cigar but working on his own cigar with Rocky Patel, and he was joking about the only other Indian guy in the room, and of course I'm gonna where the hell else am I gonna be? Of course I'm gonna be in the Rocky Patel booth. So, but he was super gracious and nice, and so that was a really fun. And then literally, we finished that interview, and then we go over to the other side of the booth. We interview Rocky Patel, and then they started turning off the lights in the trade show. It was like trade show's over. So that was kind of a cool way to end that trade show.
I remember because I walked in there right after you guys were with Russell, and I think you were with Rocky, and I saw Russell. I was like, oh shit! And at the time, it's when he had Yanni working. I don't know if you remember Yanni, and I was like, is that fucking? She's like, yeah. She's like, do you want to meet him? I'm like, I've seen every special 15 times, Yanni. And she was like, come on, let's go. I was like, I went up to him and she introduced me and I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, hey, how are you? And I was just like, I'm just a big fan. It's like, well, I'm really glad that I live up to the expectation. I was like, I didn't know. I was just like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, out of like, all the comedians out there, for me, like my favorites, it's probably Segura. I don't want to do this. It's going to be too hard, but Segura is definitely number one for me. Nicole knows that. But like Russell's up there, probably in my top 3, if not my top 5 for sure. So I was like blown away. I was just as blown away. I was like, what the fuck is he doing here? I was like, this is so random. But he's here. I'm not just gonna walk by. Yeah, that was cool. I remember that.
So, reflecting on some of your other episodes, was there ever a near disaster episode that didn't make it out?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, I mean, since we always went live, it was kind of like you get what you get, and there's a lot of other shows that pre-record and then upload it later, and I have no problem with that either. But I talked about our first episode of How About That Cigar, that was just an audio podcast. It wasn't a video, but technically before that, we went to Big's Mansion in Chicago, which is a exclusive private cigar club that's literally in this old mansion in Chicago. They have a humidor and a very small public smoking lounge. Like if you go there and buy a cigar, you can sit in this very small lounge, but the whole rest of the house is members only, and so we got access to the whole place to go in and sit down and interview Risty from JSK Cigars. And we get there, and Garrett had, I think, borrowed a camera from somebody, and so he set up this camera and tripod and lights, and we sat in this fancy corner of this private cigar lounge for, I don't know, a good 2 hours and interviewed Risty. And it's been so long now, I don't remember what, I think it was the audio, because I don't know, it was the audio that I think that didn't come through or whatever, but basically that entire recording was unusable. So
Oh no.
that was the lost episode of How About That Cigar.
Yeah.
The only other crazy weird thing that was unexpected and kind of a drag. I mean, we're not pissed off about it or anything, but we had Ricky Rodriguez from West Tampa Tobacco Company on the show, and he had his laptop set up on like a stool in a garage while the garage doors were open, and there were a bunch of people like having a party in the driveway. So it was really loud. And then after like 30 minutes, and our shows usually go like 90 minutes. And after 30 minutes, he's like, "Oh, my battery's about to die." And then 15 seconds later, his battery died, and he was just gone. That was it. And, I get it. Stuff happens, and then from then on, we always made it a point before the show went live to ask our guests, do you have a power source plugged into your laptop or your iPad or your phone, whatever it is you're using to connect to it? Do you have a power source plugged into it? If you don't, go and get one right now, please.
I think in the early days, I sent a whole Word document with like, these are the requirements that you need.
Oh yeah.
To come on the show.
Well, because
I tried to do that too, but I realized nobody reads them.
But at least it's in writing.
Yeah,
because you have that issue. You have, oh well, I'm at a lounge tonight and it's packed. It's dicks to asses. They got a DJ. I'm gonna go sit. No.
You just hear the
We did it a handful of times. I'm like, no, it sucks because like, then I'm like, when you're watching it, okay, because you can see what's going on. But imagine being in the car on your way to work and listening to the episode, and it just sounds like shit, and you can't even listen to it. It's like, what's the point? Then you get the people who are like, I'm gonna do it, like that, like, oh, I'm gonna do it like at my house, but like I have to use my phone, and then like they don't do not disturb, and they get in phone calls.
It's
and you hear the ringer going off. I'm like,
the ringer,
dude, put it on silent.
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy.
Well, then a couple others. Robert Caldwell was one that he was great as a guest. We just, for those who are, watching or listening and don't know that when you're live streaming on something like Ecamm or StreamYard, you have to choose which audio and video sources are going to be used for the stream.
Mm-hmm.
And for the interview with Robert Caldwell, I forgot to change the audio source to our soundboard, which our microphones and headphones go into. So it literally recorded mine and Garrett's voices over the built-in laptop camera, which it was just shit. I mean, it was so bad.
And then none of him.
We feel your pain.
Yeah.
No, we could hear Robert. It's just Garrett and I coming through the stream. The sound of it was absolutely horrible. And then we did this. Well, I did the same thing when we did a live shoot, not a live shoot, but we literally live streamed from a cigar shop during an event. Again, oddly enough, with Ricky Rodriguez when he was still with General Cigar, and they were doing a launch at a shop down in Kentucky, and we went all the way down there to do this launch, and we live streamed from the shop during the show, and I forgot to switch the audio source to the mixing board. So with a shop full of 100 people talking and laughing and all this and games on the TV, the sound came through the microphone that was built into the little webcam that sits on top of the laptop. It was so bad.
I promise I'm
So-
not laughing. We're laughing if we're smiling. It's because we have very, very similar stories.
We're
Where-
laughing
yeah.
with you, not at you,
Yeah.
because we've been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and then you just feel it in the pit of your stomach, and you're like, I can't use any of
There's
this. And it's-
there's an appreciation. There's an appreciation when you
Yes.
tell these stories. It's not like, what a jackass.
like,
It's like, yep, I remember
we've
when I
all
did
been
that.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Well, and now, so early on, when I asked Justin to come and be our producer, he doesn't mess around. He goes through a checklist. Like as soon as he clicks on the button for us to go live, while our intro deal is playing, because we've got a minute and a half before we're on camera. While that intro video is playing, he's got me going through a checklist, like check the audio source, check this, check that, and hasn't been an issue since Justin came in and started keeping me on track.
Dude, I've seen him in action at the trade show. He is dialed in. Like,
Yeah.
I'll you'll talk to him, and he'll we all know each other. He'll chat, but there's like a demeanor when you're on the floor. He just has this look in his eyes, like I'm still dialed in though. Like
Yeah.
he's just like he doesn't miss a beat, and that's as someone who does this, and you respect that a lot because like you have to be, and so and finding people who can do that on your team is a lot harder than people think.
Yeah, that with when you're on the trade show floor, especially if you're doing well, I mean, regardless of what you're doing at the trade show, if you're a brand owner on the show floor, or if you are one of the sales reps for that brand on the show floor, or if you're a retailer going around visiting all the booths, or if you're media, you have to have your game face on and like solid focus game face. And Justin, as soon as we walk on the trade show floor, until the moment we walk off the trade show floor, he always was 100% focused game face, like nobody I've ever seen before.
Yeah, it's everything
even
everything you
even
just
more
said
than
is 100%
myself.
accurate.
But that's good.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
hard.
I
It's
would-
hard to
I
find
would still-
reliability.
Yeah, I would still get distracted and by shiny things or there's somebody I know or whatever and he would be like, hey, we gotta be at this booth in 3 minutes. It's like, okay, let's go. So he's absolutely incredible. I'm so grateful for that guy.
And that's usually Nicole with me. Although this year Nicole wasn't there because of Anastasia's surgery that she had to deal with, and so Mitchell was there with me, and that was a very distracting show because of that reason. On top of everything else, like you just said, but then I got this whole thing going on, and then I got her texting me every 20 minutes, and this and that. So my mind was definitely all over the place. And I have to give a shout out to Mitchell too, because Mitchell was probably the reason that we completed that show as well as we did, all things considered. He really steered the ship for me, and it's hard because as a media person, I would say it's probably you for How About That Cigar, obviously. For me, it's over here it's me. And it's not like because I know when I say this at first glance, people are gonna take it in a weird way. But the reality is there is. Um, Out of every media group, there's a star of the show. You know,
Yeah,
whether it's Eric at Dojo, it's you over there, it's me here. Coop is the star of his world. Um, there's always one of us in each group that is the star of the show that does, most of the camera. They're the face that people see. And it's hard because you're trying to cover the show. You're trying to keep all like the game plan in your head. You're trying to also be the star of the show, connect with everybody. Everybody's grabbing you. You're grabbing them. You need that support team with you to keep you going.
yeah,
Who's in the background being like, hey, you know, and I tell you, it was like, Mitchell, this is what's going on. I get distracted. At this time, we have to be here, and we have to be here, and at 4 o'clock, we got to be here. And he was like, okay. I'd only had to tell him one time. And I'd
yeah,
be in a booth, and I'd get wrapped up, and it would be like, hey, Matt, we got to be at Dupont in 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I got to go. Because, I
yep,
mean, I'd forget, and it's
yep,
the same with her when she's with me. So, yeah, you're totally right on that.
yeah.
So, what did running, your podcast teach you about cigars, media, or yourself?
Oh wow, that's a
Sorry.
great question. That's a great question.
We miss you too, Andrew. We love you.
Hey brother, good to see you. And yes, we totally miss you. Um, what did it teach? Okay, so teach me about cigars, media, or myself. What it taught me about cigars, I mean, it's kind of hard to just quantify one thing. I just learned it's impossible to put into words how much I learned about cigars during the run of How About That Cigar. Um, from just being being fortunate enough to be surrounded by the whole industry and learning from so many different people about their processes and how they go about acquiring tobacco or what their special process is for curing it or fermenting it or storing it or the way their cigars are rolled and how they choose blends and how they pair it with something, a beverage or something like that, or um, how they decide to change one little thing on a box design or a band design because it's, you know, uh, very specific marketing related reasons or whatever it may be. And all the trademark stuff that goes into it and all the regulatory stuff that goes into it. It's just immeasurable what I've been able to learn about cigars. And I'm grateful for every little piece of information that goes up here that, some may consider useless. I'm grateful for every bit of it that's rolling around up in my head. Um, what I learned about media is that it is an absolutely insane amount of work for, this is there aren't very many people who do cigar coverage, whether it's trade show coverage, a live stream, reviews, news, that kind of. There are very few people who do it full time as their job, and I I absolutely respect the hell out of anybody who can do that for their job because um, bringing in enough like ad revenue is very difficult, and you have to pound the pavement. It's a lot of work going out there and getting advertisers, and especially if you're new, because you got to get somebody to take a chance on a new venture, um, and then just the time put in every week, even just the once How About That Cigar was only about trade show coverage and the live Monday night show. Even just the live Monday night show is at least 20 hours of work for me. Just to put on that 90-minute Monday night show is at least 20 hours of work per week because you got to put together show artwork. You've got to if you don't have photographs of the person you're interviewing, you got to ask them for photographs. If they send you poor quality photographs, you got to ask them for something else, and you've got to make sure you've got all the spellings right, and you've got to put that show artwork together, and you've got to write up all your promotional stuff, and then you've got to research the guest, and you got to prepare questions, and then once the show's over, then you have to do post-production, and you have to make sure that everything, now that the live stream's done, you have to make sure that everything's ready to go to upload the audio podcast and make sure that that's right. And then if you're going to do anything, if a particular guest wants to do a giveaway or something like that, then that takes a ton of coordination. So it's just a lot of work. That was the biggest thing I learned about cigar media, is that it's an absolutely incredible amount of work. And what I learned about myself is that, I learned a lot of things about myself. I learned that I can withstand more than I thought I could when it comes to pressure and that kind of thing. I also learned kind of the hard way throughout the process that I had to be I had to gain a higher level of humility and humbleness, because I had, I had some preconceived notions about what I was good at and what I wasn't good at. And in some cases I had to learn the hard way what I wasn't good at, and either get better at it or ask somebody to help with the stuff that I wasn't good at. So that's, I don't know. I think those, and I just gained so many hundreds of relationships with incredible people along the way. That was, I'll treasure that forever.
What's the thing that you're most proud of that you've built over this time?
Oh,
I know I'm just going in hard with the questions.
yeah, no, that's okay. Um, I, I guess the main thing is that it, hopefully, and I guess it's for the viewers and listeners to decide, but that it got better every week, that it can, consistently improved, and that the product, the end product, which is, the live streams, the audio podcasts, trade show coverage, that the product was a quality product, and that it had value to the people who watched it or listened to it or read whatever the content may be. And I do believe that the product that we put out was a quality product, still is a quality product, and did have value and still does have value for the people who consume it. Just like a cigar producer wants to put out a quality product, a cigar media outfit wants to put out a quality product as well. And I believe we did that.
All right, and I have one more question.
I agree.
For now. One more. Is this really goodbye?
Is this really goodbye as far as
How about that cigar?
It is.
Matt Thai. It is. Okay.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It is officially goodbye. I did talk with Justin and Raul, and I haven't even talked about Raul yet, which I feel like a jerk for. But Raul, came in when Garrett left the team at How About That Cigar. Raul stepped in as just an absolutely beyond incredible addition to the team. Absolutely amazing guy and super dedicated, just like Justin, super dedicated and, willing to help with whatever's necessary. So Justin and Raul and I, when I first talked to them about that, I wanted to shut down How About That Cigar. We did have a few conversations, about them possibly taking it over or, something like that. And, in the end, it was just mutually decided that it's just gonna be done. We're gonna end on a high note, and with our heads held high. But yeah, it's not it's not an April Fool's trick, and it's not a relaunching in 6 months or something like that. It's definitely going to be a full stop goodbye for How About That Cigar.
Well, Matt, I think you've done an incredible job since the beginning all the way through to the end. And you've had a great team with you that's been, loyal to you. And, you were just talking about Raul. Raul stepped up when you needed him the most.
Yeah.
And he stayed with it, That's really important. And, I think you're walking out on your own terms and, so what else could you ask for? I mean, I get it, like we've talked about the show, and it's a lot doing Cigar Media. I get it,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there was a lot of other personal things that it affected as well. So it's no matter what, there's a lot of respect. You guys did a great job, whatever the reason, doesn't matter. But you're closing it out your way, and you've earned that, and you deserve that, and so does your team. And I think most of us wish you the best, and just say don't be a stranger.
Yeah.
And how about that cigar still live on in the podcast world? Are you going to take everything down?
Yeah, what are you going to do with your content?
Are you going to archive it?
Yeah, I don't plan on. So I don't know exactly how it is going to live on. The content is going to live on. Now, the YouTube is basically forever unless you choose to delete your channel, or unless YouTube comes to you and says, "Hey, you're banned," or whatever. But so YouTube is there forever. And as far as the audio podcast goes and the website, I have to answer I don't know, because just like when I started How About That Cigar and I set up the website for the first time, and I set up the YouTube channel, and I set up the audio podcast, now that it's ending, I've never shut down a podcast before. So I don't really know how to do it. I've never shut down a website before where it's like, I'm not going to publish content anymore, but I kind of would like the content to still be available for people, but I don't want to spend a lot of money every year just keeping it
right
online. So I don't know. I guess is the best answer I can give, because I've never shut down a website or archived a website or a podcast or anything like that. So I have to spend the next few weeks learning how to do that. But I want to keep the content available. I'm just not exactly sure.
Okay, so
how
anyone
that process
listening,
works.
if you know, reach out to Matt.
Yeah,
If you have
I
tips.
would appreciate any ideas you can give me, because I don't know how to archive a podcast or a website, because I've only ever set up one, and I've never shut down any. So
I know a couple people we know who've shut down websites. The boys at Half Wheel.
Okay.
You mean their original?
Yeah, because there was websites before
Oh
Half
yeah,
Wheel.
they each had their own original thing
Smokin
before that.
Stogie. So
Also Barry.
yeah, and Barry.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Barry's done it. But they would probably be a good resource. I'll be honest with you. They've helped me a lot out with web stuff. Not a big deal, but we share the same web developer, so they do a tremendous job. But Charlie's been good about that stuff, and I bet you, even though they kind of took their stuff and put it on Half Wheel, I'm sure he's still maybe at one point or in between, like might have done like an archiving, because you can archive pages and whatever. He might know about that, or Brooks too, because Brooks kind of did the same thing. They might know about that because they kind of did that in between. So, also Coop might know about it too, because Coop, I feel like Coop might know. So,
well, the good thing is, even if I'm not able to keep the website alive or keep the content from the website out there somewhere, YouTube lives forever. And to the best of my knowledge, from the little bit of research I've done so far, to the best of my knowledge, an audio podcast will also stay published forever, as long as there's only a couple pieces you have to have in place in order to keep the feed published. So,
who do you use?
again,
Podbean?
Podbean for hosting audio podcasts. Yeah, it's available everywhere, but yeah, our host is Podbean.
Like, I know we have like a premium account, but I can't even remember. Do you need to have the premium account to publish, or can you like just do it free and just like let it just live?
That's what I have to find out. So,
yeah.
I'm sure there's an answer.
We have like a medium level account. It's not like a ultra whatever their highest level account is, but it's somewhere in the middle.
Right. Yeah, because I'm like, do you like, we pay for an account for a lot of reasons, but I'm like, I forget if there's like just a basic, like, you don't pay for it, it just goes out, basic stuff. I don't know. There's got to be. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's an interesting question because, you spend all these years making all this content, and then you might be done making more, and that's fine, but it shouldn't go to waste. I mean, it's good stuff. And, so you're right. It's like, well, how do I make sure that people always have access to it, even though, like, I'm done, making it and currently paying to host it? What do I do? That is a good one. Because
like you said, I don't want it to go away, because we have been fortunate over 7 years to have a lot of really great conversations with people.
Yeah,
and there's been a lot of good information given, and a lot of laughs and stuff like that. And I don't want that to go away. So I'm sure there's a way to keep it out there. I just gotta that'll be some of the work that I spend doing after December 8th.
Yeah.
Figuring out how to do that.
The body has to die first, and then you bring it to the funeral home, and you do the afterlife.
That's so morbid.
I know. Well, but it's the same idea. It's like you're talking about doing something before the guy's dead. It's like, oh, what do we do with the body? It's like, well, he's not dead yet, so.
Jesus.
Yeah, you don't want to bury you don't want to accidentally bury the guy who's still alive.
I know.
Or wait, that's a different analogy, but.
I know where you're going with it. It's all good. I'm working at right now on my regular job. I'm working in the city for a very prominent hospital that most people have probably heard of, and all the hospitals are connected, and there's like tunnels underneath. And we were down there, and we're near like where the new tunnel is that connects to the existing. And we were talking, and we were having this conversation one day. We were like, "Isn't this like where they bring the dead people though?" Like down in the tunnels. We all just like, oh yeah, shit.
Yeah, probably.
And we're standing there like, dude, these tunnels are probably haunted. Like, fucking all the people who've died in here. And then we're like, well, is the morgue down here, or is it upstairs? Like, where do they do it? And then this one guy goes, I don't know, but they're dying to get there. I'm like, dude, we gotta wrap this up. I'm like, this is getting out of control. Anyway, Nicole, do you have
I do.
You have some other questions, I think.
Yes, I do.
Well, it's time for our trivia segment, brought to you by Perdomo Cigars, featuring our 2024 Cigar of the Year, the Perdomo 30th Anniversary Sun-Grown Epicure. Perdomo Cigars stand for quality, tradition, and excellence.
Okay, so this week, a little bit of pop culture, a little bit of cigar in our trivia
Okay,
questions.
I'll allow it.
All right. So number 1, which famous movie character is almost always seen with a cigar in hand, even during high-speed action scenes? Would you like me to do the multiple choice?
Oh,
I have
well,
multiple choice.
is it a non-American citizen? Well, he's a citizen now, but was he born in another country?
I don't actually know.
All right, well, that takes the obvious one away then, because you would know that.
I don't know. My pop culture is like 0 out of
I was gonna say, was
100.
it Arnold?
It was not, no.
Oh.
I'll go with the
actually-
multiple choice. Or do
Yeah.
you know, Matt?
Wait.
Read the question again.
Which famous movie character is almost always seen with a cigar in hand, even during high-speed action scenes?
Oh wait, character, not actor.
Movie character.
Character.
Oh, I thought it was actor. Okay, that's why I was like, I don't know, like
Starring-
Arnold. I don't know.
I feel like it's really broad, so I'm going to go with the multiple choice.
Yeah.
We'll go
Okay.
here.
Okay. Yeah.
A. James Bond. B. Tony Stark. C. Wolverine. D. Ethan Hunt.
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Did you just copy Matt?
No, I'm pretty sure it's Wolverine.
It is Wolverine.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see.
I don't think Tony Stark smoked once in the Iron Man movie.
No.
That was an easy first one. Like that
Okay.
one's out.
Hey, I don't know. I didn't. I usually spend a little bit more time, but I was preparing my interview questions today for our guests. So, number 2, in Scarface, Tony Montana is seen smoking cigars throughout the film. What brand was most commonly used on set?
I actually don't know the answer to that one.
Okay. A. Monte Cristo number 2. B. Cohiba. C. Partagas Serie D number 4. D. Romeo and Julieta Churchill.
Oh gosh.
The Romeo Churchill.
I'm gonna go with.
Actually, no. I take that back.
Don't talk over
I'm gonna
our
go with the
guest.
Partagas.
Partagas.
And it's a
he-
total guess. I really don't have. I'm just guessing Partagas.
Monte Cristo number 2.
You are both wrong.
Really?
Cohiba, really?
It was Cohiba, a nod to Tony's Cuban roots and love for the finer, if illicit, things in life.
You know, I think I'm
Right.
one of those. Speaking of that movie, I think I'm one of those. You know how you have those movies that are like super duper popular, but then there's that one weirdo who thinks it's terrible. I hate that movie. I think that movie's atrocious.
What,
I hate
Scarface?
everything about
Uh-oh.
that. Oh, I hate
This is
everything
gonna-
about that movie.
Oh man, you'd be pissed to know that we had dinner with Stephen Bauer in the Dominican Republic one time.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry.
And I was like, "Do you know who that is?" And she's like, "No." I'm like,
I didn't watch Scarface.
What?
So I was at dinner with a celebrity.
So we were in the Dominican Republic, and we were with a manufacturer friend of ours, and he was like, "Hey, we're going to dinner, whatever." And before we went in, he goes, "Oh, by the way, I have a surprise for you." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Stephen Bauer is in there." And I went, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He's like, "No, he's here." I'm like, and Nicole's like,
He's not a celebrity. If I
and we're
don't know
walking
him.
in. I'm like, "Oh my god!" And she's just like,
I'm
"I don't know." I'm like, "You know who that is?"
Who is Stephen Bauer? I'm sorry. I actually have to ask that.
Exactly.
Oh man, really? You? Come on.
Which character did he play in Scarface?
Manny, the best friend.
Oh, the guy that was also in Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Okay, so if that, I just didn't know his real name. I just knew it from his characters. Now, he's a great actor. In Breaking Bad, he is fucking fantastic in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But he's not the reason that Scarface was terrible. Al Pacino isn't the reason that Scarface was terrible.
Of course not.
It was just awful. It was truly awful. But you know, for the most part, the people who F. Murray Abraham, just name the people that were in there. There were great people in that movie.
Robert Loggia.
But but the end product, you can put the best tobaccos into a cigar, but if you put them in the wrong order, in the wrong ratios, and you give them to somebody who doesn't know how to roll a cigar, it's going to be a shit product. And that was Scarface.
Wow.
You had great actors.
Wow. I haven't heard a bludgeoning
Yeah.
of Scarface like
Yeah.
this.
It
Holy
was
shit.
Yeah, sorry.
Wow.
I know I'm gonna have a lot of people coming at me saying that I'm crazy. That movie is one of the worst popular movies of all time.
My mom let me watch that movie when I was like 12, and
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh, are you
"What's going
serious?
on?" Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't.
And
Yeah,
I was just like, I thought it was the greatest thing. So that was my
that's
impression at like 12.
that's not a movie
May-
for a 12-year-old.
Maybe a little older, maybe like 13 or 14, but I was younger. I like it wasn't when I was like 20 I saw it, you know. And I just was like, wow, and I even had like I got like the like collector's edition DVD. I loved that movie because, you know, when you're that young, you're like, yeah, this is badass.
Yeah,
So that stuck with me, and I always loved it. But you know what? You were
yeah.
probably older when you saw it, so I get
A little bit, a little bit.
it. You're old enough to remember when that movie came out in the movie theater, I think. I think.
I didn't see it in the movie theater. I think it came out in '79 or '80, so I was pretty young. But I
Oh,
probably
was it
saw
that
it for
far
the first
back?
time when I was like in high school. I want to say when I first saw it,
I thought it was
late
like
'80s.
86.
I feel like it was '79 or '80.
No, but I think you're right actually. But I was thinking it was older. It was like later that it came out. Anyway, we got away from Nicole's trivia thing with this whole
Yeah,
conversation.
sorry, Nicole. I took us off on a tangent.
We did, but I have my last question, and I
Did
think
you lose it?
it's not that I lost it, it's that I read it, and I'm like, I've never heard of this, and I wonder if it's not right. Like, I think it's
Well, let's find out.
no, I just think it's like I don't know.
You don't want to read the
Well,
question?
now I have to know what it is.
Yeah,
No,
you've
read
already.
it, but I'm trying to like fact check it. So like,
Oh,
I
right.
don't know, and I don't know if
Well,
it's legit.
let's just do a dry run of this just to get it out there, and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
'Cause we don't even know what this is.
Which iconic musician had a signature cigar line released in his honor called The Chairman? A. Frank Sinatra, B. Elvis Presley, C. Johnny Cash, and D. Bob Dylan.
Well, if it was going to be any of those, I mean, Frank Sinatra was known as the chairman of the board,
Yeah.
and I would think it would be Frank Sinatra, but I don't recall ever seeing a cigar with his name on it.
But exactly, and so that's why it is Frank Sinatra, but it says his smooth image inspired the Chairman blend released by My Father Cigars. But then I was reading it, and I'm like, I don't think this
My
is
father.
Huh.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that
But
either, but now I got to fact check it, and I've been trying
yeah,
to.
We'll ask Pete. He'll
I
know.
know. Can we phone a
ask
friend?
Pete or text Coop.
Coop would know.
Coop will know. Coop's watching too. He's just being quiet there in the background. That's right. I see you.
Is he?
I see you. Yeah, he is.
Okay. Coop, you can fact check
See you.
us.
He doesn't want people to know he's
Call
here.
me
That's why he
out.
watches it. He stays quiet. But I say, William Cooper is watching. I know you're there. Yeah, Coop will know.
Char- Coop would know. Charlie or Brooks would know. Pete would definitely know.
I don't know.
Where's Pete's number? Hold on.
It's fine.
Pete Johnson. I'm going to ask him either way. Hold on. Did you guys, meaning my father, ever make a cigar for Frank Sinatra called The Chairman?
All right. While we're waiting for this answer, potentially, if I might get fired from the segment, shit. I don't know.
No, you're not going to get
Damn.
fired.
We do have some audience questions. So
Oh,
let's see here. Although I'm trying to read them.
Question. The first one was, what was it awful?
I
I
think-
think that was about Scarface.
Yeah,
but
that was-
you explain it.
Yeah.
What is a movie you watched as a...
He rewrote it. As a young man that you would not let your children watch.
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great
oh.
question.
What is the movie you watched as a young man you would not let your children watch? Well, my kids are older now, so they can kind of watch whatever. But one that I wouldn't let a child watch. I mean, just I guess anything that's like super intense or like Amy and I, my wife, you know, when the kids were young, we wouldn't let them watch anything intense or, graphic, like Amy and I are not really horror movie fans anyway, so we don't watch those, but we wouldn't let little kids watch horror movies or super intense action movies or, um, obviously movies with, a lot of uh, very kind of explicit sexual content just because you don't want
Yeah.
to sit there answering all these questions with your little kids while, people are, poking each
Pete
other on
said no.
screen.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Sorry, Matt. It just
No.
came in and I was
No,
like,
that's
ha! Pete
All
said
right, I
no.
did a bad job this week. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
no,
Damn.
it's
That's fine.
sometimes search engines can throw up some questionable information.
Ooh, Coop did chime in. I'm driving, but it was a Dominican cigar from Felipe Gregorio, not my father.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know the name Felipe Gregorio. I just didn't know that there was a Frank Sinatra cigar called the Chairman.
Oh, there we go. All right, so I get like 50%, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and you,
50% effort.
you were right. You were right. Coop would know the answer. Of course he does. He's a
course.
walking
Coop is
encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Coop
And
is
if he-
amazing.
and
I
if
mean,
he-
he knows, he remembers everything about the cigar industry. It's absolutely incredible. I am so in awe of his ability to retain information about the industry as far as who, I mean, not only who does somebody, like if you name somebody from the industry, who do they work for? He can tell you who they work for now and the last 6 companies that they've worked for.
He's
He
not
knows
kidding.
their
He's not
resume.
kidding. He's not kidding. He's not kidding.
It's amazing.
As someone who talks to Coop almost daily, that is accurate.
Yeah.
Like,
And his food knowledge. Let's not forget
oh
about
my
that.
god. And but
Yeah.
hold on a second. There is times because Coop will admit he doesn't know everything. When he doesn't know something, where does he go? There's only one person he asks.
Jose Blanco. No?
Jose.
Yeah, it's got to be Jose.
He's like,
It's
you
got to be
know,
Jose.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to call Jose. Because Jose will know. And then he'll laugh, and then he'll do the Jose. Oh, well, Coop, I gotta be honest with you. Oh,
Coop does a great Jose impression.
He does, and he does. Like, we'll be on the phone, and we'll be talking about something, and then, like, Jose will come up, and then Coop will just go, oh, Matthew, I'm like, I know. It's like, oh, he's doing Jose. But yeah, I know he's like a walking encyclopedia.
I love it. I love it. He's the guy to go to if there's any cigar information that's not published somewhere in the world, for whatever reason, he'll know it. And when he gives you an answer, you can pretty much count on the fact that it's right. So you ask him about some cigar that was released 6 years ago as a limited shop exclusive, and if we all know that it's out there on the internet somewhere, but if for whatever reason it wasn't, you could call that shop and they'd say, yeah, that's all that info you got from Coop is exactly right. It's uncanny.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. I mean, a lot of what I know I learned from Coop. And
Same.
and
Same here.
it's like, you think about, I'll be going through something, I'll be like, and he's the first one, I'm like, did so and so ever make a cigar with this on it or whatever? And then it'll be like, oh yeah, back in, I think it was like, it was definitely before your time, like 2009, 2010, they made a cigar and blah blah blah, and they made like 1,000 boxes,
Yeah.
and I'm like he pulls it out of the file like it's ready to go. It's not like,
Yeah.
hold on, let me think about it. Like, he's like, oh yeah, 2009, it was 3,000 boxes. It's like, fuck. Like, he just,
Yeah.
there it is.
He's a walking cigar search engine. It's
Yeah.
just amazing what he retains. I'm in awe of it.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, 100%.
Look at that. Coop's dominating the show once again. He's not even on here. This is what he does. But this is what it is. This is why he's magic.
He is magic.
Everything was so funny. I was talking about him on another show with someone else. I forget who said it. It was somebody, and they were like, "Yeah," and you know, I laughed. It was like, "Yeah, you know," and then there comes Coop, you know, with his posse. And I'm like, it's true. Like when they roll into the trade show floor, it's like there's
Oh
Coop
yeah,
and there's the group,
yeah.
and like and Coop's like the wolf out in the front of the pack, which is like, all right, we're going that way. It's like
Yeah.
like the, like the little gang in high school, and like Coop's like the lead. He's just like, all right, that's him, dude. He drives the bus.
Absolutely.
That's why he's a legend.
That's right.
But I thought it was funny when I forget who said that, but it was on a show, and they were like, "Yeah, here comes Coop with his posse." I'm like, oh man, that's funny. They're known as the Coalition.
Yes, and they roll deep when they go to a trade show. There's like 8 or 9 of them now, I think.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, they've grown. We have another comment for you, Matt. Matt, we will miss you, but I have a sneaky suspicion the cigar industry at some point will pull you back in. So until we see you again, peace.
I appreciate that. It's, although nobody wants to be gone from something that they love, but it does feel nice to be missed. And uh, when I say, when you asked earlier, is how about that cigar officially done? Yes, the answer to that question is yes. Does that mean I'll never pop up again somewhere in the world of cigar media? I don't know. I love it so much that I doubt I'm going to stay away for my whole life. But it's probably if I am back out there in some capacity somewhere in the world of cigar media, it's going to be a long time before that happens.
Well, we'll be here waiting for you if the day does come. Ready to rope you back in.
That's Al Pacino. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Because
right.
I love it so much, and I am going to miss it a ton. And you may see my face again someday somewhere, but it's definitely going to be. I'm also going to enjoy just being with my family and doing other stuff.
Absolutely. I get it. Well, we're getting to that point in the show, Matt. It's going to start time to wrap up. But I do want to say thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate you being here. We appreciate you just as a fellow media person just over the years. A lot of fun times together, traveling together, sharing Airbnbs, rocking out to one of the best cover bands of all time.
Yes.
We will
And
never forget.
I gotta say to you guys, I echo that I've absolutely loved the times that we've gotten to spend together at trade shows and other stuff like that. And we've had a lot of really great laughs, and good conversations around a table and a few drinks and some cigars. And I really appreciate what you guys do, and the place that you've carved out for yourself in cigar media. And like we talked about earlier, it's a lot of work, and I know you guys put in a lot of work, and I appreciate it, and I know a lot of other people appreciate it as well. So, for as long as you guys want to do it and feel that it's still part of your path, keep going, keep pushing, and I appreciate what you guys do, and it's been a honor, a pleasure, and a privilege to be considered a colleague of yours. So thank you guys.
And thank you too.
Thank you, Matt. That was very, very nice of you to say. I feel the same way. You'll always be part of our journey too, and the connections we made, and all the shows we've done together, and just learning from each other and help each other out. I mean, cigar industry is small. Cigar media is even smaller. So it's very tight knit. So we have our own platforms and our own shows, but most of us are very close behind the scenes too. So yeah, it's been an honor and it's been a lot of fun, and we'll miss you.
And it's not goodbye.
Yeah.
It's see you later.
Yeah, we'll see you
Yeah,
later.
see you later. See you later. I'll still be, from time to time, see you guys pop up live on Facebook. I'll jump into the comments and say hi. And, if a cigar event pops up here or there somewhere in the world that I'm able to find myself at, hopefully you guys are there too, and we'll share a cigar and a conversation again, just like always.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Matt, we wish you guys the best of luck in whatever else you end up doing and everything in the future. And, you'll always be a friend. So we'll definitely, we'll see you. We'll stay in touch.
Absolutely.
But good luck, and thank you.
Thank you.
For everything. Guys, that's our show tonight. Signing off for How About That Cigar. But thanks for being here with us tonight and listening and watching later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, head to smokintabacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates from the cigar industry. Farewell, friends.